Acropolis Governance Workshop number 2. Again, we're going to look at the CRI Financial Services AI Risk Management Framework, Government Specifications 1.1 through 1.1.6. Here are the specs in the document listed here. And again, our disclaimer, this is where it's excerpted from the CRI Financial Services AI Risk Management Framework, version 1.0 guidebook. We have the link for the site where you can obtain this documentation, which is required for anyone to display that is sharing this information, and we have a right to share this content under the license granted by the creators shown here. There's a link to the website, and if you cannot read this information, please let me know so it can be corrected. Using Options Autopilot, a fully functional AI agent developed before the Financial Services AI Risk Management Framework guidelines were published, we can see how governance is an integral part of an AI agent structure. AI development should advance with governance seen as a tailwind, not a headwind. So what we're trying to show here is how an AI agent or AI system can be compliant with the requirements of the frameworks here. Sometimes there's a disconnect between what it means to have a controlled execution boundary, defined procedures, repeatable lifecycle, documented steps, and policy enforced through code. So we offer that right here in front of you is your execution boundary between the different steps in the pipeline. It's a repeatable life cycle. This is a system test and stability. If you can run this thing every day for 2 or 3 months, then it's safe to assume that that is the assumption we make, that it runs stably. And so every day, if we can generate and show you the list of all the previous runs, we've met that. So governance means controlled execution boundary, defined procedures, repeatable life cycle, documented steps, policy enforced through code. We're trying to show that the code enforces the policy, and it creates the governance documentation that regulators expect. So from here's the code, and here's the output, the log file here. We've seen validation checks right here. We see an audit trail all together here. Documented filtering, lifecycle evidence, and these specific modules. Each module is owned by a stakeholder, and it could be a different department or a similar department depending on how sprawling the system is. So the pipeline itself is a managed process. Each individual script is a documented procedure. The log file is the record of execution for auditing, and the customizations made in each of the scripts is what becomes the enforced rules. So to go through 1.1 integrity and legal policy requirements, we see that those are enforced here, and if they're not, you go back and correct the code. Compliance responsibility. These are named scripts, the run order, and we can demonstrate that Joe and Sally, and managers of the market regime department, they're going to manage that code base. And so it doesn't matter what field you're applying the AI to, there's certain generic rules of thumb that we can use there. Compliant validation, 1.13, we see that again in the logged output, the actual performance. So if this data is not correct here, then we need to go back and figure out what's going on in here. So that is our compliance documentation. It's between here and the actual code. And these are all auditable. Data lifecycle and retention. In detail, we have the pull date and the rejection. And so we can tell all about the lifecycle of our data. So developing our AI agents and other systems really drawn upon our systems engineering experience and our operations research, and some really interesting things going on in terms of AI programming as compared to other programming. Making our systems compliant and meeting the expectations of the legal department and the regulatory agencies. This is a linguistic issue with some translation things, and this too we're going to work through. Thanks so much for your time.